This is a way overdue topic of discussion. Simply put, AEW, a lot of championships, a lot of issues. Let's jump into it because we got some stuff to talk about. So let's talk about it. So without further ado, let's roll that mother effing intro.
Free fall as I dive through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama, I don't really wanna.
Well, seeing as how I am your resident predictions champion, I feel like I got a dog in this fight. I have some level of expertise in this topic of discussion. So we're gonna go ahead and knock out the ones that are eliminated from this whole conversation as far as with the issues, because AEW, TK, a lot of championships that have been introduced over the lifetime of AEW, and along the way, a lot of good ideas that have happened, but a lot of bad booking decisions and ideas have spawned from said introduction of titles. Now, first and foremost, MJF, the AEW Championship. I don't think there's ever been an issue where we've had an AEW champion that has actually been bad. Now, we can go ahead and excuse the whole CM Punk situation and the interim stuff with Jon Moxley. That's kind of been dealt with. And I don't think that it needs to be discussed, because I feel as though whatever plans they had probably would have laid that whole conversation to rest. So since we didn't get a chance to see that come to fruition, it's not necessarily something that needs to be talked about, or at least put with marks against it. So we're not even going to talk about that. But as far as MJF carries any storyline that has to do with the AEW Championship. So there is no issue with MJF being champion. And there's no issue with anything surrounding the AEW Championship at this moment. Any storyline that's going on, especially one with the four pillars as of right now, is perfectly fine. So, no issue. Now, as far as the trios titles, they had kind of a good and bumpy start, thinking about the whole, again, CM Punk. But the CM Punk and Elite situation, the Elite was supposed to kind of get this off the ground. Personally, I felt as though it should have been House of Black to start off the trios titles reign. So now that they're on them, I feel like these belts are catered for the House of Black. It's literally meant for them to hold. So I feel as though, since those titles are on them, whatever was done prior really is no issue at this point, because I feel like they're rebuilding the foundation of what the trios division is meant to be. So as far as I'm concerned, no issue with the trios championships. Now, if we go into the tag titles, FTR holds them right now. Enough said. Completely no-brainer. FTR, even though they aren't currently defending the titles, even though they haven't really been on TV in a prominent role as of late, outside of them winning the titles, I think everything's still fine with them. So, I mean, they put in enough work to where we don't necessarily have to worry about the tag division at this point. So, no issue as of right now. Now, the AEW Women's Championship, Jamie Hayter, who holds that title. Here's the thing. Jamie Hayter is not the problem with this. And she's not been in a situation where this title looks bad on her. I think she's had a few good matches. I think she is shown to be a fighting champion, and I think that's perfectly fine. The only thing is that she hasn't had a prominent feud since she's won it. She's defended it a number of times. And I think right now with her and Britt, and as of right now, Hikaru Shida, now in this feud with Why is the goddamn name Outcast? There we go. Their feud with the Outcast right now is kind of overshadowing her being a champion. So hopefully, once this is all said and done, we can get back to her being in status quo as being a champion and a defending champion at that, and then we can move forward. Um, that's as far as it goes, as far as my praises go, with what doesn't need to be discussed as far as issues within AEW's lineup of titles. Now, the ones that need work, it's not to say that these are badly booked titles. It's just that some have certain issues that could prevent them from being better than they need to be, or better than they are right now. And there are just some that's just booked as fucking dog shit. So, first up, the AEW International / All Atlantic title. First off, that's where you fucked up already. You should have just kept the name, or you should have initially labeled it as the International Championship. Sounds very close to Intercontinental Championship, but we're not going to get into that. Orange Cassidy, not a bad champ. At first, it did seem kind of, but I feel as though he earned this spot. And he is continuing to earn his slot as a champion within AEW due to his current reign. He has defended that title, he has defended that championship, and he is shown to be a fighting champion. And I think that's good. There is nothing wrong with that. However, AEW runs the risk, and it's coming up very soon. They run the risk of making this title reign very stale if all he does is just defend without having, just like Jamie Hayter, a prominent storyline. Right now, he doesn't have a prominent feud. He doesn't have a prominent storyline with this title. His whole gimmick is cool. With him coming out with the backpack and having that title there. I feel you need to show the title a little more. Shout out to Pac for being able to have earned that title and be the one to display that title as such. But Orange Cassidy is not a bad call for this title. But I think you really, 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 really need to fix the issue with the lack of storyline and lack of prominent opponents. Personally, I would have pulled the trigger on Murphy beating Orange Cassidy for that title. I still think that should technically happen. I think Murphy would be a very, 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 very good option for somebody to have that title. I think he would do fantastic things with this championship. Now, this one kind of hurts, but it's not the fault of the actual champion. It's the fault of AEW and Tony Khan. Hook with the FTW championship. Again, Hook is not the problem. Hook is booked perfectly as far as his character is concerned. Him as a champion, this more so feels like a whole novelty thing because, again, it's something that his father introduced. It feels as though it's in the same vein as a $1 Million Championship. The reason why I wouldn't have a problem with that is because, again, links to his father, works out perfectly for him if he was just carrying that title for that. But the fact that Tony Khan opened his mouth and he stated that this was going to be a legit title that was going to be defended, no problem there. The problem is the execution behind it has not worked out. So it's either you need to shit or get off the pot. This either needs to become a definitive legit title, or it just needs to be written off and just taken away from Hook and just eliminate it completely, and then just have Hook go for something else. But if this is your way of just keeping Hook at bay before he goes after something else, it's not the right move. Not by a long shot. It's getting to the point where you had so many opportunities to have this thing defended and booked in the right way, especially when it was on Starks. But the fact that nothing has been done impactful period. I can't say as of late, but period. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, let me take that back. It was done right when you were doing the transition from Starks to Hook. It seemed as though they were going somewhere with it, and then they just kind of nothing. And that's what it's doing. Completely nothing. So either shit or get off the pot. Do something with it or get rid of it. This one definitely hurts me. And that's the TNT Championship. Because it's had so many stops, especially with the BS hot potatoing of the title. You had some stuff after Darby, and especially after well, first off, you completely screwed it up when Scorpio won the title. When him and Sammy Guevara were going back and forth with that. That's where a lot of it kind of just basically hurt the title the most, is that complete feud right there. You know, it's something where you should have just taken it up the same, put it on Scorpio, and had Scorpio pay his dues with the title and allow him to do what he does best. Now, I don't know if it's because he got hurt as to why that decision was made, but I think it's something where I felt like it should have been a reign that should have been better for him. Now, when Joe got that title, perfectly fine. That was the best thing that you could have done for the title, especially after the Scorpio and Guevara feud when they were going back and forth. When Joe got that title, and then he got the television championship, or rather when he got television championship and then won the TNT title, and he was doing the whole King of Television gimmick, I felt that was fan-fucking-tastic. The only problem is you fucked up and you made the wrong call. And you didn't make the wrong call by putting it on Hobbs. You made the wrong call by allowing Wardlow to take it from Joe, and then the whole Wardlow losing it to Hobbs and then back to Wardlow. Right now, you're in a position where it's just completely screwed up. Personally, from my perspective, what I would have done is I would have just had Hobbs win that triple threat match. I would have had him win that initial triple threat match, had him take that title, and basically just have Joe and Wardlow feud over the television title and have Wardlow beat Joe for the TV title and then go and just stay on ROH. And you could have had Wardlow over there instead of being stagnant within the AEW roster. Him having that title, and it's nothing against Wardlow. It's just there's nothing for you to do for him at this point. And the problem behind that is you put the title on him because you have nothing for him, but you want to put him somewhere prominent. It doesn't help. What would have helped him is going to ROH and being off of AEW TV and being a champion somewhere else. That would have helped him more, because then you could have put him in a position where he could have gone up against Claudio, whether he won or lost. Regardless, it would have put him somewhere where you could have set him up to be groomed to then come to AEW and then get back into the title, not back into, but get into the title picture, whether it be with MJF or somebody else. But as of right now, this is hurting the TNT Championship, and it also hurt Hobbs, and that's an unnecessary casualty that's happened. I felt like Hobbs could have definitely been a good way to, one, basically show him the respect for being there, and it's especially when he had a hot streak at that point. Once he won the fucking donut, we're not calling it a ring, it's a fucking donut. Once he won the donut, he was hot. People were behind him, people wanted him to win, and there you go. But you do this, you have him take it, you put him with QT, which you didn't have him go over Wardlow clean, which that also hurt him. And then you go from there to then just having him lose the fucking title. Makes no sense. To do what? To then put it back on Wardlow to do exactly what he was doing before, which doesn't help him or anybody else for that matter. And now you have this whole thing with Christian, which is fucking weird because now Luchasaurus could have easily been slotted in that position, but I digress. Horrible booking. But it's not as horrible as the TBS Championship. This, again, well, no, can't say again because I've always said it wasn't the issue with the actual performer or the wrestler, whatever. This is a problem with Jade's booking all around. You put the title on Jade and you've had a multitude of opportunities to take this title off of her, but I feel like AEW is so afraid of having her lose that it's to their detriment. It's almost the same thing as with Goldberg winning the US title. He had him win the United States Championship and then he goes on to win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And then what? So that's a problem that you have with Jade because at this point, this title is being held hostage by Jade's horrible booking. It's gotten to the point where her losing is way overdue. And that's a problem because you've had a number of suitors. And I don't know if they're waiting for Statlander to come back to take the title off of her, but this is where you would call an audible. This is where you would call an audible. You know, if this was the case and you were just worried about making sure that Jade was going to be undefeated, then you should have never had her in that tournament then. And you should have had Ruby Soho win that title at the beginning. Because this is supposed to be a title that showcases the women. And if you have Jade just basically beating down every woman that goes up against her, and you have women just waiting in line to be slotted, to be put into some type of storyline or some type of feud for the AEW Women's Championship, you're doing a disservice to your women's division. A complete disservice to your women's division. You would have been better off debuting AEW Women's Tag Championships than debuting the AEW TBS Championship at this point, because at least you would have had more women who would have been able to vie for some type of gold that's not the AEW Women's Championship. But the fact that you only have a handful of women that's able to be slotted into the AEW Women's Championship picture, and then you have Jade holding that title hostage behind her booking, where basically anybody that goes up against her is just destined to fucking lose, it doesn't help anybody. And any prospect that you had that could have potentially taken that title off of her, or that could have potentially won that title if it had been on somebody else, you've done nothing but hurt your division even further. So at this point, it's either you need to have Jade lose or give up the fucking title. At least do it a storyline way to where she's like, you know what? I'm holding this title. It means nothing because there's no more competitors. So you know what? Here, you can have it. Something. And then have her just go away for a little bit to come back for, the AEW Women's Championship, or at least just have her give it up to be like, you know what? I don't want this anymore. I've done everything I could here. Now I'm going after this. So you can have this title. I want that title type shit. It's an easy fix. But if you don't want to do that, then she just needs to fucking lose. Jade needs to lose because at this point she is in a position where she's going to definitely, well, she's past the point, because for me she is stale. This is it doesn't matter anymore. That bitch is not that bitch anymore. I'm sorry. I like Jade, but as far as her booking goes, this shit is fucking trash. And the TBS title deserves better, much better. But either way, AEW, TK, fix your issues with your championships, please. Because there's a lot of good TV that can be had and that can be watched from all the fans that love AEW. So do yourself a favor and book this shit better. So that way these titles can get more showcase and things that need to be done with these titles can be done with these titles. And those who need to be slotted into positions that they deserve can be slotted in, and these wrestlers can get the respect on TV that they deserve, other than just having to wait in line to either lose or hopefully get some type of rub from some other champion. So with that said, Whether you loved it, hate it, don't forget to rate it, thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave all your comments, concerns, questions down below. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button, all that good stuff, whatever. And just root for your champ. We have what? This weekend, it's a nothing pay-per-view, but we'll get into that sometime tomorrow or Friday. But with all that said, until you hear this immaculate voice and see this handsome face, I bid you all adieu, you beautiful, beautiful mother effers. Until next time, tag the fucketh.
Dollars make a way to make a change. Gotta be insane to make those same mistakes again. So I'm switching lane to lane. Pray the curb don't scrape.